How do you hire them right the first time? Have you ever hired someone and about a week later you go, "Who are you?" Have you ever said to yourself, "But when I interviewed this person, he or she said," well, it's a classic challenge for many leaders, is that we end up doing what I call hiring the warm body syndrome, which means we think we know what we want, and so we make a sort of a list or a job description of what we want, and then when we hire, we're looking to fill that position, and we are not necessarily getting the answers we need to make sure that this person will succeed in their role. And specifically Gen Y, you have to realize that Generation Y has been taught in college how to give a great interview so that they get the job. So one of the things that many progressive organizations are doing today is they're doing something called situational hiring. And what that means is in the interview, they're preparing examples of situations within the workplace where the skills that are needed would be tested. So for example, if you're interviewing someone and you ask them, "Are you good at Excel spreadsheet?" Of course they're going to say yes, because they want the job. But instead what you do is before the interview even begins, you have some factors ready and you say to a person, "Could you please create an Excel spreadsheet for me in the next 10 minutes using these factors?" That's going to tell you pretty quick how well they know Excel. It's also going to show you the speed with which they can handle themselves under pressure. This is becoming more and more common with many progressive organizations where they're coming up with situations. They're also showing video simulations of what could happen in the department of where that person would be working, and then asking them, if you were in that person's position, what would you have said, done, or would you do anything differently? So using the tools and the resources other than just questioning. And typically, no matter how great of an interviewer you are, typically we all get caught up in asking those closed questions like yes or no required is the answer, when instead we want them to answer, "This is what I did in a previous situation," or "This is how I would solve it." So how do you make sure you hire them right in the first place? You have to interview them differently. You have to look for the skills needed for the situations that they will find themselves in the workplace. And oh, by the way, Generation Y wants to be set up for success anyway, because you know that the average tenure for a Gen Y is about 3 years maximum, and that's if they like the leader. If you want to get them to that 90-day probation period, we want to set them up for success, and we want to make sure we're matching their skills to the job that we're requiring them to fill.